It's a Monday lock and load. It's Hawaii Volcano Squad broadcasting from the Pineapple Pentagon. Lock and load, dude. There you go. Uh, so we're going to talk a little bit about what's in the news, such as gun confiscation. Had some interesting stuff happen here in Hawaii on that. And of course, Clinton wants to institute Australian-style buyback programs. God help us, save us from that. Or at least get out and vote for a Republican, Anyway, so I had some interesting stuff happen this week because I got a $13.35 Sports Authority loyalty reward for ammo I bought for my last big ammo run, I guess. And so I went down to buy a couple more boxes, cashed in that reward.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 357 Magnum on sale.
Ooh, nice.
For $25 a box. But I didn't buy much, just bought a couple boxes of that. And so I met one guy there who had his guns confiscated by the DLNR in Hawaii. And got into a long conversation.
Yeah.
And he kind of had lost his faith in America at that point. So did some research, read the codes, sent the DLNR, which is Department of Land and Natural Resources in Hawaii, state organization, the basically a request for a list. They're required to publish a list of everything that a forfeiture list of everything that's been forfeitured each year with their annual report. And their annual reports on their website had no forfeiture list. So I said, "Hey, where's the list? Where's the report?" And so I got a return email from the head of enforcement for DLNR in Hawaii, who basically said that there's no list because we haven't forfeitured anything, which would come to us, which got a bunch of FFLs here in Hawaii to go say what? Because they've all had customers come in complaining about having their guns seized by the DLNR. So I'm assuming that the guy in charge in Honolulu doesn't know what the people on the Big Island here are doing anyway. I don't know about the other islands, but since they what happened is they never approved a range, and even though the DLNR did all kinds of tests and there were private parties paid for the tests of testing high-powered rifle noise and see how far that carried from the proposed range area. Basically, they've been trying to get this thing done for 15 years, and they've never approved public range. So people go to hunting areas with non-hunting caliber weapons, and also you're not allowed to have full metal jackets on you at all. You can only have soft points, and people have getting their guns seized, but if they go to court, they'll get them back because they've lost. The DLNR lost on appeals in court a case called Carlisle versus One Boat, where they tried to seize a fishing boat because they were using the wrong kind of nets to fish with or something, and so they tried to seize the boat. And the ruling of the court was that the seizure laws weren't propagated in the actual DLNR administrative codes and rules, that people didn't know what to do exactly. And
now, have you checked that code to see what it says pertaining to guns, to make sure there's not some sort of loophole where they can just keep them?
Well, at some point, just seizing them and not taking them to court for an official forfeiture proceeding. They're required to do that, but at some point it just becomes a forfeiture. I mean, how many years can they keep your guns before they're just forfeited? I mean,
isn't that against your Fourth Amendment rights? They can't keep your property without just compensation.
Due process, at least. So, basically, it seems to me that the chief of enforcement doesn't know what his guys on the Big Island are actually doing. And so I was trying to get some of the FFLs to round up some of the paperwork from the people who had their guns seized, and just give us a copy of the ticket you got when they took your gun or whatever, and or whatever paperwork you have, and so I could forward it to the chief enforcement officer so he would know what the hell is going on.
Well, that technically that is a privacy issue, so they have to get permission from you know the uh, the gun owner first before they can release those records, right?
Well, I'm talking about getting the records from the gun owners themselves. So,
Right, right, right.
if they want to share that information, because basically the gun owners go to the FFLs that they bought the gun from and whine and bitch and moan, and they took my guns, blah blah blah, and so and then I hear about it secondhand, and I actually met one guy, so I heard it firsthand. But that was before I actually that was what prompted my email to the DLNR saying, "Where's the damn forfeiture list?" And so by the time I heard back, now if I actually meet somebody again, I'll say, "Give me the paperwork, and I'll get your guns back." Or at least I'll give
Right.
it to the DLNR guy and put an end to this crap, because he apparently he just doesn't know what's going on, what his own guys are doing. So, and if Hillary gets elected, you have to wonder what's going to happen. You know, because if they're going to pass some mandatory buyback program, like she's a big fan of in Australia, you know, like we were talking before the chat, that we were saying that the government in Australia never actually owned the guns. So how can they call it a buyback program? If they're going to
They
bring
didn't
back
even buy them back; they just seized them.
well, yeah, and then they put them in a big pile and melted them down, I guess. But
Yeah. Though, on one of these shows, I am going to look at getting one of the gun rights supporters. In Australia, they're trying to. A lot of them are making a group to try and get some of their gun laws back, and I'd like to get him on either, Hit and Miss that airs tomorrow. I'm probably not going to get him tomorrow, but one of our shows, or on maybe even your show, you might be even interested in it. So,
hey,
I,
Aussie.
I just figured I would mention that because we're on the topic of Australia gun laws.
Yeah, well, so you have to wonder. So what's going to happen is that if you don't turn in your guns, they're going to issue a misdemeanor warrant or something, to the buyback program, and then that'll give them a right to pull over your car, do a search.
Honestly, I
ask
don't
a
even
lot
think
of
they
dumb
put that
questions.
much effort in. I think they would just, if you don't do it and they've got you on record, they'll just come to your house and say, "Give it to us now, right now. Otherwise, we're going inside your house and taking them."
And searching and
Because
everything
it would
else
cost the
illegal we
government
see, we're
less
gonna.
money.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just that I think somebody did the math one time, and because there's 100 million gun owners in America that own about 300 million firearms, that if you sent in the military to do that, or the police or whoever, I mean, if you sent in the military, they'd be outnumbered, with an executive order or something to do that, if they were actually to follow such a blatantly unconstitutional executive order, that they'd be outnumbered about 185 to 1, for so I mean, and if just one out of 185 people fought back, I mean,
I've lived on the East, the West Coast. I've even lived in Indiana at one point too. And I'll tell you right now, I've went to school most of my life though, in the Southwest, in the South in general. And if anyone tries to make the Second Amendment illegal or tries to take my guns, the answer is from my cold dead hands, or I will start whistling Dixie again. And it's not on the topic of slaves; it's the topic on rights. I mean, the moment they take away from one of our rights, then it just opens the door for them to keep on taking more of our rights. It doesn't matter which one; they'll keep going for them until we have nothing left.
well, all I have to say is don't mess with cow tippers.
Oh God, you got to say that on air. Thanks.
Well, wait a minute. You were talking about Cowboys and the Arizona
This was
Cardinals
like,
who were winning the
granted, this was
game.
like back in like '95 and '96. when the Cowboys were actually really good.
I can't remember that far back.
You're probably where in the Middle East at that point.
In what year? 85? No, I was in
95.
95. I was still running my studio in Burbank, California. I was stuck in Burbank,
Oh, okay.
trapped in Burbank. Hell.
I'm not sure if you made the bad decision moving to Hawaii.
Well, there's no cows to tip in Burbank, so.
Yeah, there hasn't been any cows to tip in Burbank for 100 years, maybe even further back.
Yeah, well, they had the skunk works there, Lockheed skunk works, where they had all the top secret military aircraft and stuff. But the good thing about Burbank, if you're running a business, is it had its own city, it had its own electricity department, so you weren't subject to Los Angeles City taxes. So, and I think we talked about during Edge's show on Friday the how every sheriff in California signed on to the Calguns
Forms.
Calguns lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles for they have a confiscatory ban on 30-round mags.
Even if you bought them before the machine gun ban,
they didn't exclude law enforcement. So if like a sheriff was to go in his patrol car to some function or a courtroom or some gathering in Los Angeles, then they'd be a felon. So they all signed on to oppose this the ban and they're all suing the mayor of city of Los Angeles. I think Garcetti or something it is now. I have to look at the form, but I've never seen a complaint form with where every sheriff signed on to sue the city of Los Angeles before. I mean, there's 50 names of 50 sheriffs something signed on as a plaintiff in the case.
I haven't been to California in 20 years, so don't ask me.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Well, so I'm just wondering what it would look like if Hillary wins the election and issues some sort of executive order that everybody has to do some buyback on their assault weapons or something, whatever.
I am going to revolt, and I'm not going to revolt against the government. I'm going to revolt against bullshit laws.
Well, there's a lot of people who tell you that I'm already revolting. So,
well, I didn't mean you looked revolting. I just meant we need to revolt to protect our laws or our guns and our laws. I guess the good ones.
Yeah, all that constitutional. People say that. Some people say that the founding fathers are crazy, and some of the stuff that they said about
And some of those people are the same people that went to Canada during Vietnam.
Yeah, well, they were crazy to fight the British with just a bunch of colonists with muskets to back them up, but they won. And just everybody has to remember that when Paul Revere made his ride, he made his ride with Sterling and I forget one other guy. That three guys actually made that ride, and basically it was to warn the people at Lexington and Concord that the British were coming to seize their guns. And then the British took the field at Lexington, and nobody knows who fired the first shot and all that stuff, but when they got to Concord, all the colonists were waiting for them with their guns, just ordinary colonists, and they had a few thousand of them shot the British all the way back to wherever they came from, and
they came from Canada, right?
What is it? Everybody's bashing Canada because of the liberal guy won, Set loose the moose, man.
No, I was talking to Bob the other night, and he said their liberals are more like our conservatives.
How did Bob let this happen?
Well, Bob says that their liberals are more like our conservatives, and I'm like, how does that work? They're liberals, and he goes, they just are. I go, yeah, is that why you're coming down here to vacation? He goes, no, I'm coming down there to vacation because it's cold.
in Canada.
Yep.
Well, I believe that it's cold in Canada, but anyway, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly what to tell the chief enforcement officer for the DLNR, because I don't want to get into like some weird, you know, it's duck season, you know,
It's rabbit season.
it's duck season, duck season fire, and I wound up having the gun shoot me. I don't want to be the rabbit on rabbit season or the duck
No,
on
in
duck
your
season.
case, it would be it's Elmer Fudd season, and they start going after you instead.
No, it's volcano season, fire.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, that was a good thing with a that's like the best ever Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny, and it's that pronoun problem. It's not when Daffy Duck says it's not shoot, it, it's not shoot. I didn't say it's shoot you now. I said it's time to shoot me now. So shoot me now. So
Yeah.
the whole pronoun trouble thing that's just so funny. Uh,
Yeah, I
but
mean, and that's the stuff they don't. I mean, if you have like Boomerang on cable, you might be able to see old Looney Tunes, but they don't show old Looney Tunes on Cartoon Network anymore.
they have them on
The,
YouTube.
they got them on YouTube, and you can watch them on YouTube because those are the ones that aired like back in the 30s or 40s, or they were on the theaters. Those old ones because they've basically gone out of what is it their public use.
But the point is, I don't want to have any pronoun problems with the chief enforcement officer of DLNR. So I want to choose my words carefully.
You may need to hire someone to help you, write a letter. Just
I
so
can
you're.
write a letter without any paying somebody to do it. I just,
Well, I'm not saying that you have to. You may need to get a lawyer to help you, just so that
no, I'm not. I don't need a freaking lawyer. I know the hunting regs. Have them in front of me, even though I can ask them how come they haven't actually published them new hunting regs. There's 2015 new hunting regs for Hawaii, but they aren't published on the DLNR website. You have to go down into their office and ask for them.
wait. We're almost getting to 2016.
Yeah, and
We've only got like 2 months left. What the hell?
hey, the DLNR still hasn't filed the 2014 annual report on their website either. So not only is there no seizure forfeiture list, there's also no financial report for 2014. So
That's messed up.
yeah, they're just behind on everything, and the top guy just isn't aware of what his guys are doing on the other islands. I guess if you don't, I mean, if they don't video conference what their plans are, I just think the guys on the Big Island might be a little bit out of control and doing their own thing without any authority from the higher ups from above. They're
Maybe
just
we need to tip off the IRS and have them audited or something.
well, I don't know if I don't think they're. I don't know what good the bringing in the IRS would do.
Well, it's just it's just something that comes to mind because if they're not reporting that they're seizing these guns and they're seizing these guns, they're not reporting on their taxes either.
Pineapple penitentiary. That's funny, Sean.
I guess that's what we call Hawaii these days.
Pineapple pen. No, it's a pineapple pentagon.
Oh,
That's what they called it after World War II. There's actually a specific uh, building called the Pineapple Pentagon in around Pearl Harbor. I forget which base it was on, but yeah. So I'm gonna just thinking carefully before I choose my words to tell the guy that his own guys are just out there seizing people's weapons and keeping them for themselves. You know, without any legal authority to do so.
I mean,
Because it would help if I just had one of the tickets that the guy, or one of the court papers from the guys who had their guns seized. So that's why I've been just like waiting. I waited today for like an FFL I know to try and get me
the
one.
reason why you might not have got anything is they may have just seized them with and not given receipts.
No, they're going to give you at least a ticket, so you have to show up to court too.
They may not have even done that.
They did, because he was telling me about his large fine that he had to pay, and he didn't have to pay a fine without going to court. So
Yeah,
because it's at least $100 fine and or 30 days in jail or both. So, but hell, I'd rather do 30 days than have him take my gun. So
I wouldn't. I'd rather do no time.
well, yeah. You mean you wouldn't want to be a guest
I,
of the Pineapple Penitentiary?
no, I wouldn't want any time. I wouldn't want to have to serve any time, and I don't want my guns taken away from me.
Me too. So basically, since only place that I've got for now to go is hunting lands, and so I'm trying to get all this stuff sorted out before my next range trip, because I don't want to have to get into it with the DLNR. Uh, and
Remember to
actually,
bring soft points.
yeah, yep. That you aren't allowed to have, even just not just in your gun. You aren't allowed to even have possess on you full metal jackets if you're in a hunting area. So in Hawaii, so that's the new 2015 code. If somebody wants a link, I kind of have an unofficial link, but if you actually want the thing, you have to go down to a DLNR office and ask for it, because they haven't posted that either. So they're behind on stuff they have to post. So I don't want to just uh, piss the DLNR and top enforcement agent off, but because he was nice enough to actually get back to me the same day that I emailed him, and he could have just ignored it if he wanted to.
You may
So,
have to go down to the FFLs in person.
well, the FFLs don't have anything.
No, all they have is the people that have had their guns seized, right?
Yeah, they just know who they are. That's
Yeah.
all, because they walk in and complain. So
Yeah.
I have one guy that's calling up trying to get some documentary support to show to the chief DLNR enforcement guy. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, because if you're in Hawaii, and a lot of because especially if you're on the Big Island, there's no official range. They've had many tests, and that they've been trying to get one for 15, 20 years, and the DLNR has been in charge and supervised the tests and everything, and it's just that nobody's approved the range yet. So if somebody wants to go, unless you have a few acres of your own, or a friend with a few acres of his own who'll let you go shoot on his property, then your only other choice is hunting.
Now,
If
does
you
that have to be out in the county, or does that have to just be just land?
Well, the hunting areas are state land.
No, I mean shooting on your own property.
Well, no, if you're shooting on your own property, you can do as long. Really, the only limit is like what's downrange of where you're shooting. Is there somebody there structures or roads or residences downrange, stuff like that. If there's
Right.
nothing behind where you're shooting, then it won't be a problem. But if there's like a house 1 mile down, then that would be a problem.
So it doesn't have to be out in the county. It can be just, where there's nothing around, right?
Yeah, well, it basically is going to have to be safe, and you're going to have a berm, and to shoot at, so rounds just don't go. Yeah, it's going to have to be a certain distance from a public road. I think 50 yards from a public road,
Right.
and
Right.
something like that.
Well,
But
that's a bummer.
yeah, because most people go to shoot on some hunting hunting state lands to exercise Second Amendment rights because they haven't approved a range yet. You know, and so you've got all the anti-gun people, all the liberal anti-gun people against a range, and so
I
people
mean,
just
wouldn't they rather people
shoot up
have
the.
a range?
They're against anything that has the word gun or firearms attached to it, a range, anything. It's like, no, don't let them have a range. That would be evil somehow. So uh,
So when are you running for governor?
I'm not running for anything. I like playing poker and drinking and hookers. So I would be a bad governor. You don't want to vote for me.
Actually, you'd probably be a subpar governor considering, most of the governors in the United States.
Yeah, well,
Because with the scandals they've got, I mean, come on.
right. Well,
But it could be worse. You could be, posting pictures of yourself naked on Twitter.
yeah, well, I mean, so Schwarzenegger, like his big problem is he fucked the maid and pissed off his wife, I guess. So
Right. Well, his wife is from the Shriver Kennedy family, so yeah, not someone you want to piss off.
yeah, well, you'd like have a go camera. I'd be the only governor with his live go camera, go shooting at the range, playing poker, and then at the massage parlor in Vegas or something, with a GoPro cam and the whole thing. So,
You'd probably be the most popular governor ever.
just take a non politically correct GoPro camera with you everywhere you go. This is me passed out, and all you can see is the ceiling.
And then you'll be like, I'm not saying that I did go into that massage parlor, but I'm not saying that I didn't either. I might have. I was too inebriated and drunk, to know.
Well, the Kardashians do a show with all that stuff, so look, I don't know if Lamar Odom had a GoPro cam. Would they publish that on their show?
Oh, don't even get me started with the Kardashians.
Well, I've never watched that show, but I mean, I just heard all the stuff about that happened to Lamar, and
Yeah, and then there's the whole Kanye West is totally going to run for president in 2020. Yeah, bullshit.
no, I think having a rapper would be worse than having Hillary.
I think we'd be better off voting, Stephen Colbert for president.
Well, it would make the State of the Union more fun to watch, probably. But other than that, I don't know.
It would. Back during like the 2000 what was it was it was the 2010 election? No, it's the 12 election, I think it was, where with the Romney and whatnot. Stephen Colbert said, come on, Doritos, go and be part of my super PAC and help me get elected. But apparently corporations like that aren't allowed to donate to campaigns.
Doritos can't sponsor a candidate.
They can't sponsor a candidate.
Why?
I have no idea. It's some law or in.
Aren't corporations people too now?
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be people, but one, you can execute an individual, but you can't execute a corporation. You can hold an individual accountable for everything and execute them, but a corporation, you can only hold them accountable and just fine them.
Right. Speaking of which, in some Hawaii news related and Puerto Rico related news, I think you've probably all heard me complain about the Jones Act from like 1930 or whatever, which basically makes anything shipped from America to America from an American port to an American port have to travel on a United States built, United States crewed ship, and they just sent first U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the conviction and sentencing of Frank Peake, the former president of Sea Star Line Limited, known as Tote Maritime Puerto Rico, for price fixing. So not only were they charging ridiculous amounts of money for container charges per container to ship, they were fixing the prices with other companies. No, and you want to know why like a box of cereal costs $10 in Hawaii?
Or why Big Mac costs like a Big Mac meal costs what, $10, $15?
Yeah, well, if you get the jumbo size, yeah.
I mean, most here in the United States is like, or here in, South Carolina, it's like 6 or 7 if you get the jumbo.
Well, I've been getting ripped off. This guy needs to be put into the pineapple penitentiary so we could take it out of his hide, man.
Right.
We need to like just
When we need
hang him out back from a boat and use him to troll for tuna or something.
we need to ratify the the Affordable Cheeseburger Act. Okay.
The Affordable Big Mac Act.
Yes, the Affordable Big Mac Act.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just want to take this guy for price fixing, this Frank Peake guy, and just throw him overboard with a line to like a troll line for for fishing for tuna, deep sea tuna. See if we get any bites off of him.
Or just tow him in a small little raft in a lot of shark infested waters. You know, make him fear for his life.
We got lots of tiger sharks. Yeah, we'll chum the water first and then throw them in and just tow them around the channel between Big Island and Maui.
Yeah, he wouldn't like that.
We'll just tow them off of Maui near the shore, we'll chum the water. I mean, it's just there's a lot of corruption in the system, but I don't think the DLNR. In this case, I don't think the DLNR guy that in charge knows what the guys on the outer islands are doing. So, it's hard to be mad at the top guy if it's just
if he's not being made aware, or maybe he is being made aware, and he's just deciding not to tell you because you haven't been affected by it.
No, because he CC'd like the like a lawyer, like a state lawyer on the email, so he's not gonna lie to a state lawyer. On top of me, he probably wouldn't have a problem with, but the state lawyer on top of that, no.
Well, the state lawyer is on his side. I don't see why this lawyer would, take your side over his side.
Well, only if he's lying, he would, because even lawyers have some things that laws they can't suborn perjury without implicating themselves in crimes. So they generally don't do that.
You say that, but most of our politicians running for president right now are all lawyers, save some of the Republicans.
Yeah, that's political free speech. That's not a document about a specific crime.
But they're still lying to our faces. I mean, come on, that's still lying.
You're allowed to lie, and I mean, don't you remember when they did that commercial where they were trying to sell, when the FCC fined Nutella for that commercial they were doing that made them take it off the air, that's saying Nutella is great for your children to start their day for breakfast with, and they FCC made them pull that ad off the air. But so the lesson is that if you make a advertisement, a television commercial for your political candidate that's running for president, then you can lie all you want, and that's the government protects you because that's political free speech. But if you want to make a ad to sell chocolate covered nut sauce to spread on toast, then you better be telling the truth so they'll throw your ass in jail
Or they'll fine you.
or fine you. Yeah, they fined him too, like $1 million, and pulled the ad off the air. But if it's political free speech, you can say what you want, but and you're protected pretty much. You can say any dumb thing and lie all you want, and the government protects you. But if you lie in a court case or in a public document or in your official capacity in a job, that's something different.
Yeah, that's perjury, isn't it?
Yeah. It's perjury, abusive process, blah, blah, blah. I don't think the DLNR chief is doing any of that. I think he's just doesn't know what his guys are doing on the outer islands, who are either not telling him or just gunslinging it, just making it up as they go.
Which is even worse. They shouldn't be making it up. They should be following the same laws everyone else has to follow.
Yeah, they should. They're not. So we got problems that I'm trying to help fix just in my own small way, but for my own self-interest and everybody else that want, because you know we don't have a range yet because DLNR won't approve a range, and so you have to know, you know you have to know what the laws are to deal with DLNR, because they can take your guns, but if you go to court, they're not going to be able to keep them because of the Carlisle versus one boat case, that they can't forfeiture anything.
That is supposing that there was documentation to prove that they have them.
Yes, well, they're going to have to give you some piece of paper. They'll probably charge you with some crime, like misdemeanor for having a non-hunting caliber handgun or rifle on in a hunting area. So,
What are the hunting calibers in Hawaii right now?
well, for a handgun, I think it's like 44 Magnum or 10 millimeter.
You can't use 45.
Nope.
Okay, what about the rifle?
I think 22 Magnum is okay, believe it or not, and 5.56 is okay. 308 is okay, but yeah, there's some
So
stuff that isn't.
is 223 also okay? Because
Yeah,
223 556.
yeah, they made an exception for that, but they didn't publish it it's not published in the old regs, and like I said, the new one isn't online. I only have an unauthorized version of it, and I haven't driven down yet to the DLNR in Waimea to pick it up yet, but I'm going to. I just looking at the unofficial online version. Uh, so
Yoder, Texas is asking, what is there to hunt out in Hawaii?
Boar, lots of wild boar. There's goats, feral goats, sheep. Um, you know,
Are there any type of deer or anything out there?
yeah, axis deer. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, well then there you go, Yoder. That's what he's hunting.
Yeah, people hunt boar all the time. People like use bows and arrows to do bow and arrow hunting, or you can just use a spear if you want.
Anybody using compound bows?
Probably. But you got to remember that it's not even felons can own bows and arrows, so there's no requirements for that. You can go hunting with bows and arrows, and
No, but are the natives there allowed to own bows and arrows?
Yeah.
The indigenous people of Hawaii, I guess I'd say.
There goes another thing. We have worse. There's this fake federal tribe that they're trying to put together. There's this. Basically, they want to create this list of supposedly they're trying to create a fake Indian tribe in Hawaii. It's
Well, I guess they're just trying to protect their what's left of the Hawaiian people identity. You know.
no, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're creating this tribe just for federal. It's like it's straight out of the Obama administrations. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like it's. Well, I can link you guys the article if you really want to know about it. It's
Yeah,
like
just link
this.
us.
All right. Hawaii Free Press. It's on hawaiifreepress.com. Legislation strips Interior Department authority over tribal recognition. Right. Let's see.
Are they actually trying to say that they are Native Americans because they're part of the United States, or what?
They're trying to, I don't know. The Tribal Recognition Act of 2015. Yeah, they're trying to say that Hawaiians are an Indian tribe or something. And basically they have this list of people, most of probably who aren't even Hawaiian. and it's like this new vote, and they're trying to have this bits. I don't know what they're trying to do, but it really looks messed up. Copy, paste. There's a bunch of crazy crap going on, and this is like out of the Obama administration.
Well, are we really surprised if it's out of the Obama administration?
No. Yeah, and here's basically the website, hawaiifreepress.com. So you can find out some of the crazy stuff that's going on.
Okay, so they're just trying to say that they're a Hawaiian tribe or whatever, right?
Yeah, but they're not. There's like white people. I mean, anybody that wants to create a new jurisdiction to hide from,
Axis.
hide from, she'll to create another legal veil. That has to be pierced for them to like serve subpoenas and stuff like that.
Right.
So if you want to hide out from the law, join this tribe, basically.
Well, now that you mention, I think I might have some Hawaiian in me.
Yeah, just show up with a pineapple and they'll take you.
And yes, I am totally joking and making a joke at their expense.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, the Hawaiians may be a lot of things, but they aren't like an Indian tribe. So, last time I checked. So basically, that's where it's at, and I don't know what Hillary is going to try and do with an executive order that Obama can't do, but it's just pretty crazy. Trying to
Oh,
it's if they get your name on a list of with a to stop and with some kind of warrant list because you didn't sell your guns back to the state or something, then they can give them excuse for illegal searches and seizures, basically.
Did you see that where she was going on and on about gun control in the debate, and then like the next day, one of her aides or whatnot for her campaign was saying she was backpedaling a little for her campaign.
Well, they know that's going to lose them votes, but in the long run, it'll gain them. It's like
They're just trying to get California.
Jesus.
California, New Jersey, and New York. Oh my.
She's playing to the base for the primaries, and then when that's over, she'll forget all about that stuff and go more centrist.
Yoder asked, he eats pineapple. Does that qualify him to join that tribe?
Probably.
I mean, I eat pineapple too, so I guess Piotr, both you and me are Hawaiian.
Well, you can probably join that tribe.
Yeah, hey, how about that? Yeah, it's just the whole election thing. It's a mess right now. I I really hope we don't get a Democrat president. I really hope our next president is Republican. And yes, I know there are ifs on that side, but we would probably be better off with one of those Republican presidents than we would someone on the other side.
Yeah, any Republican. I'll take any. I'll vote, like I said before. I'll
Any
vote for
Republican other than
which
Christie.
whichever Republic. Well, he didn't he just veto some kind of assault weapon ban or something in New Jersey, and it's the New Jersey legislature overrode his veto or something.
Yeah, it was just some law that was put in place to get your medical records expunged. That's what the law was, I think. Some sort of procedure or something.
Yeah, well, who knows with the Obamacare, they can go check your medical records. I know that in Hawaii, in order to get a permit for a firearm, you have to sign a medical release form, or they won't give you the permit. So basically, I think last time my dentist told me, like, the county sheriff called him to find out if I was crazy or something. you know,
I mean, isn't that against the law?
I didn't want to sign it, but I wanted my permit. So, uh, well, if you they won't issue a permit if you don't sign a medical release, so they can set whatever conditions. County sheriff can set whatever conditions he wants to issue a permit. So he wants to know who's crazy. If he wants to know who's crazy, he should look in a mirror. But
Yeah, for instituting bullshit gun laws and enforcing them.
well, like I said, the main problem we're having is with the DLNR because people don't only go shooting on hunting grounds because it's the only place they have to go. Uh, target practice right now is all the well-known hunting spots.
Well, that may just mean that they, instead of bringing Full Metal Jacket, even though it's cheaper, that from now on, if people want to go hunting or they want to do target practice, just bring the
Stop
right,
point.
just bring soft point,
Well,
and
but people buy a 9mm and they can't go. There's nowhere to go shoot it. Target pistol practice.
there's
Pistol
not one
practice.
range
Nope. No
in the
public range at
entire
all.
state of Hawaii.
Not on the Big Island.
What about the smaller islands?
Well, on Oahu, there's been a range there before that was there before the state was even made a state, before statehood.
I mean, it's sad to say, but you may just have to go to the other island.
Hop on a plane, get cases for all airplane cases for all your, figure out which carriers don't mind doing that. This would have all been easier with a super ferry.
Is that another failed government project?
No, it's a private project where they just didn't file an environmental impact statement. So they spent a ton of money and it got shut down basically. And it was basically the only it was just if basically inter-island travel uh, can be very expensive. So it's just it really increases costs of everything when inter-island travel is so expensive. Inter-island shipping too, like I was talking about with with the price fixing of shipping inter-island or
Well, how far apart are most of the islands from I guess the main part?
oh, I mean, it's not more than a day of shipping. It's the price fixing. It's the Jones Act. It's everything. It's all the rules and regulations. It's not the distance.
Hmm, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like, and we when Go Airlines came in with a few planes and started. They made it like $29.99 to fly inter island. That just like almost put Hawaiian Airlines out of business. And so they filed an antitrust case or something. And
Did
but
they
for a
win?
while yeah, so they put Go Airlines out of business, but that was that for a while. It's like you could it's almost people could see their families on different islands, people could go see doctors on different islands, people could go to Oahu, to Queens Hospital in Oahu in Honolulu, and get good medical care. And but that all stopped. uh I mean, they did it wrong. I mean, they basically, made a fake offer to buy Hawaiian Airlines, so they could get all the competitive information they needed to compete with them. Uh, um, uh, and they used it in unfair trade competition to uh, compete with them.
Did they get in trouble for that?
Yeah, they got shut down basically. So, um, but it was really great to be able to travel for $29.99 in between islands and just fly, island hop. But yeah, if now to go shooting on Oahu or at the range there, it would cost it would cost you probably 150 for the air ticket plus extra freight that they charge you for extra bags. And if you had all your guns in cases, they charge you a small portion for that.
Yeah. Well,
And that's if they decide to even take it.
that's not right.
So, and you can't, and because they killed the super fare, you just can't drive your car with the guns in it. Because with the super fare, you could just drive your car onto the super ferry and they just ferry you across to another island. But they didn't. They when they didn't file the environmental impact statement for that, so that was their mistake.
Maybe that was on purpose.
Nah, it was just them not knowing what they were doing. Incompetence would be more like it.
Well, there's no short supply of that, no matter what part of the government or corporation you're talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just trying to figure out how not to get into a duck season, rabbit season thing with this DLNR guy, and get try and get him on my side to stop the local DLNR guys from seizing people guns when they don't have a right to forfeiture anything anymore at the moment. So I'm just trying to choose my words carefully.
Well, they could say it's part of an active investigation, so we have to hold on to them until we're done investigating.
And, I don't think so. I don't think that'll fly.
You don't think, or you hope?
I don't think that'll fly at all. There's so many other things they could say that would make so much more sense. They wanted to just slime everybody, but it ought to be interesting to see how it turns out. But I just want to, like I said, choose my words carefully. You don't say stuff like the bastard Big Island DLNR motherfuckers are ripping everybody
Right.
out.
Keep it civil, just so they won't just ignore it. Right.
Yeah. Keep it on point. Keep it civil. I mean, I didn't even mention the word gun in my forfeiture letter. It was just simply where's the forfeiture list that you're required to keep. Then I got well, we haven't forfeitured anything in the last few years. We don't have to make a list because there's nothing to put on it. So And that to which everybody said, "Well, we know you've been seizing people's guns, so what the hell are you talking about?" But if they're going to make the claim that they haven't forfeited anything, but they just seized it and didn't forfeiture it, that's just that's not going to last very long.
No, it won't.
But I don't want to screw anything up by putting by using the wrong pronoun or something.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I'll figure it out. But it sure would help if I had the actress could actually just email him a copy of the ticket that the guy got written when they seized his guns. But if I would have known, I could just hang out at local gun shops for a few days until somebody comes in and starts bitching about it. Then I'll be, well, let me have it, and I'll try and fix this for you, for everybody, really. Because hey, I want to go shooting at the places I go shooting, and and not have to worry about DLNR swooping in and saying, well, "Give us your guns. You're in violation of the soft point code or whatever."
Yeah. I'm just checking the YouTube side, and Stan Ulch has mentioned, much like the morons here in Canada who think Trudeau will keep his promise and legalize marijuana. And and Stan also mentioned that he looked at opening an indoor range here, and the laws and insurance were staggering. He'd
Oh
need
yeah,
a ton of money to get started and keep going. It's
indoor
ridiculous.
range and marijuana dispensary.
Only in Canada.
No, and probably in Hawaii it would fly too.
No, it'd probably only fly in like Washington and Colorado. Because marijuana is legal in Washington and Colorado. I'm not going to say California because it's not really legal in California. It's only legal in counties.
Yeah, but it's probably not legal to be on marijuana when you're handling your firearm. So it's not
No, but it's
smart
also not
either.
legal to handle a firearm while you're inebriated and drunk either.
Put down that beer.
Put down that beer. Don't pick up that rifle.
Yeah, I'm happen to be drinking a Kona Brewing Company Castaway IPA at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just drinking a Red's Apple Ale, which I like the stuff. It tastes like a sour apple cider more or less.
I've never tried that.
It's good. Granted, some will say it's bitch beer, but whatever.
It works for cow tipping. I don't think anybody we have there are cows, like on Parker Ranch, but I've never heard of anybody actually doing cow tipping on the Big Island.
Really? You're going to go on about that? We've run out of things to talk about, so we're going to go on to the cow tipping.
Well, we were talking about that before we started, and I just thought it was funny because I was talking about football or something, and talking about the Arizona Cardinal Baltimore Ravens game that's on Monday Night Football, and you were saying everybody in Arizona really nobody pays attention to football or something.
No, we don't pay attention to we didn't pay, at the time I was living there, we didn't pay attention to the Cardinals because I was like 95, 96 when the Cowboys were really good and everyone just rooted for them because the Cardinals have had a long-standing reputation for, really sucking. And there's no nice way of saying it. They just really suck.
And so we got onto cow tipping from there because you like the Cowboys or something.
I somehow we got into that. Yes, I don't want to explain it.
Right. Well,
I think I need more apple ale or something.
There's nothing in the hunting regs about cow tipping.
All right, cow tipping's legal in Hawaii. Go cow tipping
Yeah, you can join that tribe and tip all the cows you want.
with pineapples.
Yeah, there's actually some guy
I'll
that
bring Yoder along with me, and we'll go and tip cows eating pineapple.
yeah, you ought to try and get the white pineapple. They're supposed to be the best ones.
Right. I forgot
But
that.
there's different kinds of pineapple.
I only eat the yellow. They're just the base, generic pineapple that you see just everywhere.
Yeah, I like pineapple. I chop one with my machete. I think I did a video on that, or was that a watermelon? I can't remember.
I think it might have been a watermelon.
Oh man.
But just go outside of your apartment or your townhouse or whatever you got. Just climb up the nearest tree, shuck a pineapple off, and then just get your machete out, just cut in half. Make it a whole YouTube event.
The pineapple.
How to
I,
get a pineapple off a tree, how to shuck it, everything.
no, you have to get some kid to climb up and pick it down. You could shoot it off of a tree, but I mean,
No, you don't want to shoot it off a tree because the bullet
not on
might go
YouTube.
somewhere. Not on YouTube. You could get arrested for that.
Well, I mean, the
Only if they
DLNR
found you,
people are
right?
watching my stuff on YouTube. I mean,
One guy commented. I mean, that's better than nothing, right?
well, if somebody from the DLNR is listening on YouTube, please stop seizing people's guns on the Big Island because you don't have any legal right to do so because of the case of Carlisle versus one boat. All right, so there you go. Now I don't know; they don't have any laws against cow tipping or shooting pineapples off of trees, but
There
the
might
big
be one about shooting pineapples off of trees. You don't know.
well, there's our negligent
Or do
discharge laws, but
pineapples do grow on trees, don't they?
no,
What do they grow on? I've never seen a
they grow on the
pineapple.
ground. They grow it's a ground plant kind of a thing.
It's like a bush.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like ivy or something like that. It's like a watermelon or a melon.
Okay,
It grows on the ground.
because I've never seen a pineapple plant just in general. All I've ever seen is the end result.
Right. Well, they don't usually grow them for it costs too much money to grow. They stopped growing sugar cane in Hawaii too, pretty much. I mean, they still grow some, but they don't, grow it in the quantities that they used to for export.
Yeah,
It's easier, it's cheaper to grow it in Vietnam or
China.
Brazil or something.
And that's another thing. That's what's wrong with our country. We're outsourcing all of our production to other countries. And what happens if another world war, not that I'm going to say it's going to happen, but what happens if something like that, which cuts off all of our supply to feed and keep our nation running, what happens when all that gets cut off and we don't have any of it?
Well, then you don't get any of our pineapples. I'll grow my own pineapple plant and charge like $100 a pineapple.
Yeah, maybe you'll get someone to bite.
And then I'll ship it on that. It'll be like 9,500 per container of pineapples that I send over. So even
Well,
if I
you
charge
need to
one
make sure
dollar,
they're shipping it in a United States made container in a United States made ship with the United States crude.
with the United States executive that's fixing prices as high as
Right,
possible from his
right.
prison cell. I mean, I don't know. In between the corruption and the idiot politicians, we just never get a break, man.
Ain't that
So
the truth?
Yeah. So what just really pisses me off when I hear people yelling and screaming, like when we were listening to, I think, uh, the C-SPAN thing the other day, and the person called up C-SPAN, uh, complaining that why are we talking about Hillary Clinton when we could be talking about gun control? It's just like, oh man, that's like the worst person caller on C-SPAN I've ever heard. But there's people like
Wait,
that out there.
here's the
You know,
thing.
that's when we
Didn't
were listening to the Hillary Clinton Benghazi hearing.
didn't G Web say that they're going to host that sometime on C-SPAN they're going to show the gun gun rights policy conference?
I doubt it.
Do you remember? Because they C-SPAN was there. Do you remember what date he said they were going to show that?
I don't know, but it's on Polite Podcasts YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure. If you want to see it and you're listening to this, it's the whole Arizona Gun Rights Conference is on Podcasts. That's the YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure that's what the name is. I could go double check real quick.
Yeah, I watched it live. There was a lot of good talks. There was a lot of plugging for their individual groups, but hey, more power to them. I hope that what they're doing, works out for them.
Yeah,
But we need more people to join these groups if they're in the states associated, and to carry on the fight because you know if we lose one right, we lose them all. And sorry about that. I didn't mean to hijack your train of thought.
that's okay. My train of thought was hijacked a long time ago.
Polite Society podcast is what
Polite
G-Web said.
Society podcasts. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can check it out on there if you missed it. I remember I just OD'd because I watched that whole conference live and I was just overdosed on. I couldn't possibly. It's just intensive,
I watched most of it
gun
live
rights
too.
talk. Weren't you? Didn't you? Wasn't your brain just inundated with all that, gun rights talk? I just
I
couldn't.
kind of wish I was there for some of the conversations that they weren't having just up at the podiums because they were having conversations on that radio show that was there doing the podcast, and then they had there. Apparently, G Web said there were other conversations between guys, before they went to the bar or during lunch and whatnot. I would have liked to have been there to be part of some of those conversations to hear what they wanted to talk about that they couldn't when they were up in the podium or on the radio because there might have been more than what was already said. And that's just my take on it.
Yeah, well, there was so much information in there anyway. I just was overdosed on it. If you watch all of their stuff from the Arizona gun policy conference, your brain is going to explode with gun rights policy stuff. It just
And I hear the next one is going to be in Florida. And I think I might be able to attend that one if it's open for people to go and attend.
Florida.
Florida. That's not too far from me. It's only like well, that part of Florida might be a little bit further, but it might be like a 7 or 8 hour drive. But it might be worth it.
Have a good supply of ice and beer.
Not while I'm driving.
No, I mean, but when you get there, it's going to be pretty humid, so you're going to want a lot of cold drinks and stuff. So
It's going to be humid regardless. I live in South Carolina. There's not much difference between Florida and South Carolina weather, except it gets a little cold up here sometimes, and that's about it.
and hurricanes.
And well, they get hurricanes in Florida too.
I was wondering if Edge and Finn had any problems with that last one that came up through Mexico, Patricia.
I mean, the only difference between South Carolina and Florida is Florida gets the Florida has the Everglades. South Carolina doesn't.
Yeah, there's the whole alligators versus crocodiles controversy. We were talking about Florida one time. And anyway,
Alligators for the win. United States, go.
are alligators better than crocodiles or more ferocious or something?
Well, no, alligators are true American animals because uh, while a crocodile will chase you, an alligator will chase you for a few minutes, and then if it doesn't catch you, it gives up.
Well, a couple
And that was
minutes
a
is a long way to run.
that was a study done by the not a study, but the guys on MythBusters. They went and did a test to see if alligators would keep on chasing prey, and alligators kind of gave up kind of halfway because they didn't want to exert that much effort.
Well, yeah,
But
for testing,
crocodiles
you
kept
have
on
to
going
find a
after the.
human that wants to be the prey for the test. How do you do that?
Well, they
We're
used
gonna
a defrosted chicken.
a defrosted chicken.
Yeah, the butterball chicken.
You mean they didn't actually have a human running? They had just a
No, that
frozen chicken on a string.
yeah, more or less. I mean, you should look it up. I'm sure it's on YouTube, but it was a good watch.
I can just see this crocodile or alligator or whatever chasing a chicken on a string, frozen chicken.
But it wasn't frozen. They defrosted it so that they would actually chase it because they had to have some form of blood or something for them to go after it.
Oh man, that sounds like
I mean,
dumber
if
than
I
the
find it on YouTube, I will link you just so you can see it. All right.
duck season, rabbit season, frozen chicken season.
Or Full Metal Jacket Elmer Fudd season.
Yeah, well, I like that one video that they did with all the cursing in it, where Elmer Fudd shoots uh, Daffy Duck, and then Daffy yells at him for using live ammo on a film set.
I think they had a Geico commercial about that at one point.
Well, it was just so funny; it was ridiculous. But
All the old Looney Tunes are pretty darn funny. I mean, just like Speedy Gonzales, all of his shit was hilarious. And his cousin Slowpoke Rodriguez, slowest mouse in all of Mexico.
I don't remember that. Sorry to say.
Wow, you don't remember Slowpoke Rodriguez? Wow,
No.
that's Looney Tunes. That's like classic Looney Tunes right there.
Well, so anyway, other than that, not too much new. I think I said mentioned last week I got the Crimson Trace laser for my Ruger LC9S Pro, and I picked up ordered some 5 round PMag extensions, base plates, so you can extend your whatever PMag Gen 3s by plus 5 rounds. And So everybody that hates high capacity mags, in your face. Because now I got 5 more than I used to have. So, but I'm definitely gonna have to pick up some soft points because apparently you're not allowed to have anything else. The only thing I have soft points for right now is my 8K.
But
So
remember, you have to have the soft point in the approved cartridge. Otherwise, they're going to take your guns away.
yep.
So make sure you own a gun with that cartridge and just, take soft points.
Well, I don't see any point in taking a cartridge that you don't have a gun for. I mean, it doesn't fit in
Obviously,
the gun.
I was saying taking a gun you have, in the proper cartridge. And maybe I
Yeah,
misspoke, and I apologize on that.
that's okay. It got me to laugh.
Well, that's not hard.
No, but I mean, really, that would make sense. Why haven't they passed a gun law that says the ammunition you bring has to match the rifle you brought? I mean, that would be a good code to pass
You
because
know,
it's
there are
so
conversion
incredibly.
kits for like AR-15s to convert it to like 22.
Yeah,
Where it's just a drop-in bolt carrier and a specialized mag. I've got one. I've got one made by CMMG, but I really shouldn't have bought it because I haven't been able to find 22 in my area for like 2 years.
yeah, I saw some at Sports Authority the other day, but I don't have a 22. I didn't buy any.
Yeah.
I should
I
have
mean,
just bought some just to add it to my ammo stash, just on ammo purchasing principles, just to have everything. Because when the Hillary ammo crunch comes, the ammo will like quadruple in value. So
the Hillary ammo ban of 2016.
the ammo panic will happen, if not the crunch or the ban, but the panic will happen. I think. I mean, if Hillary gets elected, don't you think everybody's going to panic and start buying guns and ammo?
I think people would revolt instead. They would revolt, not just find you revolting.
Or all of the above?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen you in a mirror lately, so I can't comment.
Oh, well, I'm a beautiful, incredibly good-looking person. But
Yes, yes, you're quite suave.
thank you. You get one extra. You get 5 gun channels credits for that.
I wish.
I'll send you 5 gun channels credits if you really want them. But I think there's some way to do that on here, but I don't know how.
Well, you figure that
Of
out.
course,
You let me know.
all you have to do is actually log in and to gunchannels.com, and you get 5 points. So I don't know how to spend gun channels credits, but
I think they're just
like
more of
ammo.
a
It's like ammo. I'm hoarding them. You know.
yes, yes. You're hoarding them. I think they're more just there, like either they're like poker chips. They're not really worth anything unless you're in a casino.
Yeah, that's what gun channels needs is an online casino.
Well, then we'd have to get
Okay.
we'd have to host all of our. Hey, if that
Yeah, you
Hawaii
can host
tribe
it.
gets
Yeah,
their
you can host
tribe,
it.
we can host it on their land.
Right.
We can
With
start
this,
a data center to host online casinos.
yeah, that's what Hillary should have done with her server. Put it on an Indian reservation.
Yeah, that way they can seize it, right?
Yeah, that's why the federal warrants when they couldn't exercise the federal warrants if the server was on a Indian reservation. They should have put it on Sioux territory.
Oh man, that would have been harsh. They don't like letting go of anything these days.
Custer's, yeah, they could, I'd like to see him get it off of an Indian reservation if.
Okay, GWeb said that they are for prestige. People will envy your stack of them. Okay, now we know what they're for.
They're for prestige. People will envy your
Prestige.
stack. Okay.
People will envy your stack, apparently. So,
It's
well,
like when Such did that video during the first ammo cr- panic where he had his pickup truck loaded with ammo.
yeah.
One day they'll be worth something. One day you'll be able to trade them for each gun channel's credit. You'll be able to get like one round of 5.56
No, probably
or
one round of 22.
one round of 22. No, it ought to be at least like AKM, a one round of 7.62 by 39.
If you want one round of 7.62 by 39, I've got, a bunch of Tula lying around if you want some.
Well, I need more soft points of that to take because to
Oh,
go
yeah,
to.
you can't have these then. These are all full metal jacket.
Well, you can have them. You just can't bring them to the hunting areas. Is all.
Well, then What? You leave them in your car?
Leave them in your house. Don't Can't even bring them in your car.
Oh, wow, that's messed up.
You have to wait for the apocalypse basically until you can use them. So,
I don't want to wait for the apocalypse. I want to use them now. Right? Am I right?
well, I mean, you know,
I mean, sure, there's those people who's going to save them and save them and save them until the Walking Dead becomes, the Living Dead. Or,
so who's been watching? I mean, I don't watch The Walking Dead. I've been watching The Bastard Executioner on Fox FX. Edward the Second. You know,
oh, God. Here we go again.
well, this is with swords.
Yeah, I know, but you're always calling Edward the First Longshanks, but he had a different name, which was Hammer of the Scots.
No, but he was given to that name by you look that up on Google. I can tell that 'cause he was. If you keep reading, you'll find out he was given that name by somebody, some author or something after he died, a long time after he died. Yeah, that wasn't his name when he was living.
Right, but still, that was another. It's another note to put in there.
Well, it's like if they called Ronald Reagan one thing when he was living and another thing after he died. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter now because he's dead, but
That's the point.
well, for historical accuracy, Longshanks would be more credible than something that some guy 100 years later called him. You know.
Uh, I'd just prefer you call him Edward the First.
Well, but since Mel Gibson called him Longshanks, that's what I'll call him.
Yeah, well,
I'll go with the Mel
Mel
Gibson improvement.
Mel Gibson isn't a good reference for anything these days. You should be ashamed of yourself for proving that.
Mad Max. Mad
Uh,
Max.
yeah, but have you seen the new movie?
Yeah, I have the DVD. I have the
Well,
Blu-ray. I have the Blu-ray.
Oh, you got the Blu-ray. Oh my, we got a badass here. Watch out. He's got the Blu-ray. How
Yeah,
was it?
It was okay. I mean, I saw the original. I saw in 3D at the movie theater. So
Now, was that in 3D with the red and the blue lenses, or was that in
yeah,
3D with the glasses?
it was in 3D with whatever cheap glasses they give you.
All right.
It's not. Oh, who was on the other day saying they bought? Was that you that bought the TV and you had to have this super expensive kind of glasses or something, and that didn't work very well, or
No, that was not me. I bought the cheapest TV I could get. It's like a year or two ago when Walmart was doing that whole $99 32-inch 720p TV, and on the Black Friday deal, I went on Thanksgiving Day and got that TV. So
I don't want to be ducking stuff in my own house. I don't mind ducking from like flying, you know, Mad Max stuff in a movie theater, but I don't want to be ducking in my own house from things flying at me. So
my TV isn't 3D or anything, so
I don't think mine is. I mean, I've never used 3D function on it, so I'm not planning on it. But the Blu-ray was pretty. I mean, the quality is okay, so Um,
all right. Well, as long as it's good.
but yeah, I got it, so I can watch the chase scenes endlessly over and over, and eventually, you know, get my own war rig. God, that'd be so illegal in Hawaii. You're not allowed to, you know, mount a turret gun on your vehicle in Hawaii.
Really?
No, no, that's against the rules. I know you're not allowed
Wow.
to hunt from a car. You're not allowed to hunt from a movie unless you're a disabled hunter.
You're
Uh,
probably not allowed to own a tank either.
well, I don't think they want you shooting out of a car, basically. So no drive-bys on animals.
Now, if you got theoretically, if you bought one of those tanks,
Well, I'm
Could
talking
you?
about with like a crossbow and a disabled hunter, who can use like, like paraplegic or something. They can't. They don't even let them do it. So
Well, if you got a tank, would you have to use soft point tank ammunitions or tank
I don't
rounds or
even think
what?
there is such a thing.
I don't think
Soft point
so either, but
120
that's why I
millimeter.
ask.
Do they make soft point 120 millimeter?
You know, these are the questions we need to ask. Do they?
Well, I don't know.
We're not asking the right questions.
Well, we did that show earlier on bug out vehicles, and we found like an old tank that was for sale in Ventura County. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
I think the guy wanted 150,000 for it or something.
Right. Well, I was watching something on YouTube the other day, and it was apparently a guy over in England had to go and move from his apartment to an actual house because he went and just as a joke bid on a tank online and put the initial bid for it, and apparently nobody else bid on it, and he won the tank. And apparently you are allowed to own tanks in England, but you have to park them in like either in your garage or on your driveway, and you have to be able to do that as long as it's within the local laws or covenants or whatever. And I'm just like, he apparently he the reason why he had to move was because his apartment complex did not want him parking his tank in a regular parking spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to, if you back the thing up, you could just run over somebody's car if they're in the way.
But apparently in England, as long as you have the right, the road tracks for it, where it works on the
Yeah.
road, you can own a tank and just drive around all day long. They don't care.
Well, um, so yes, I think my condo association would not let me get away with that.
Probably not. You might be able to get away with like a decommissioned car or truck that was owned by the military.
I don't even think they'd let me get away with that. Take
You're
up too
right.
much
You
space.
you
Size
are
is
in
too big.
Hawaii.
Well, it's nothing to do with Hawaii. It's the damn condo association. They're worse than the DLNR. But at least if you had a tank, you could liven up the board meetings when you showed up in your
Yeah,
tank.
G Web mentioned tanks need to shoot chalk or nothing, or else each cell would be registered a destructive device.
What about paint? They can shoot paint.
Yeah,
Paint
paint
can
rounds. I
paint
think
rounds.
paint would be all right. I think that would fall under chalk. Yeah. Anyways,
So, what was the topic of this chat? This was gun confiscation.
gun confiscation.
I was wondering if anybody out there on gun channels actually had any of their guns confiscated by like a state agency or some
City
par-
agency even.
some Nazi fascist government agency. I think most gun channels people fly low under the radar, so that probably wouldn't happen. But hey, could happen. I know it could happen to me because I was out on hunting lands, shooting my nine, shooting my Glock 17. They could have swooped in anytime and said, "That's not a hunting weapon, you prick. Give it up."
Yeah, and then you'd be like, okay, so when do I get it back? After you pay this fine.
No, they'd be like, "You have to go to court and get it back." Then I'd have already known all about this Peter Carlisle versus one boat. Carlisle was the prosecuting attorney for the state, and the one boat, basically the state versus a boat. The boat won.
But the problem is that's only if the boat will apply to a gun. They may say that there is a statute for weapons.
It's a forfeiture statute. It has there's no there's it's a forfeiture statute is a forfeiture statute. It doesn't matter what they're seizing.
So it's a one court case fits them all.
Yeah, for forfeiture.
Well, that works, I guess. I'd hope.
One
Yeah.
would think forfeiture is forfeiture. They
I hope
seize it.
those people that got their guns confiscated in Hawaii get them back.
Yeah, I've heard that everyone that goes to court does. It's just that they have to pay a lawyer and go to court 3 times. So, uh, but like I said, nobody. This is just I've been hearing from other people that have gotten their guns seized and bitched and moaned about it at their FFL. That's how I hear about it, indirectly from FFLs or directly from FFLs. What their clients, you know, had to go through to get their guns back.
Right.
So basically, it's like, they're doing it so that if they would just approve the fucking range, nobody would be in the hunting areas with non-hunting guns. But they don't want to approve the range because a bunch of liberal politicians told them not to or something.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Not everyone would do it. You still have the redneck or the jackass that would go out there anyways.
Well, I'm not a redneck, but sometimes I can be a jackass, but I'm not a
Well,
redneck.
well, 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 well maybe those Hawaiian tribals would say that they're also rednecks as well.
No, I think most Native Hawaiians would say that that the agency, they would say that Hawaiian sovereignty, that they're not subject to any laws outside of state laws because the kingdom was illegally seized, something like that. So
Well, even if it was seized, you guys live in the United States of America now. Deal with it or leave. I mean, there's really not much else. And it's bad to say that, but you're not going to win against the United States government in a court case. Not unless you have like absolute proof and you have a damn good lawyer.
or you're a boat.
Or you're someone that has, billions of dollars.
I mean, they literally lost to a boat.
They lost to a boat. Oh man. Well, that wasn't the United States government. That was the Hawaiian government.
Yeah. State of Hawaii lost to a boat. So NBA season starts on Wednesday. Can't wait till my Lakers get destroyed again. They got a lot of new players, but I don't know. There's a lot of great NBA teams out there right now that are very talented, so it'd be hard to beat.
Eh.
The Warriors are very good for starters in the West.
Go Suns.
Phoenix,
Eh.
nah.
They were good for a while.
When they had Nash, they were good.
I would say they were good when they had Barkley.
Yeah, well, he was on the Dream Team.
Yeah. Oh, those were the days.
Oh yeah, I remember the Dream Team. I remember the wild press. I mean, the press was tracing around the Dream Team like it was Donald Trump or something.
Oh no, not another Trump joke.
Well, I guess the whole world has come down to whether Donald Trump wins or not, But I'll take, like I said, I'll take any Republican. I'll vote for whichever Republican wins. I don't care which
Except
one.
what Carly Fiorina or whatever it is.
I'll vote for anybody, any Republican. I know I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I know that. But
I'm not voting for any Democrat whatsoever.
Bernie Sanders, oh my
I do
God.
not want to feel the burn.
Bernie.
Yeah, no. Oh, did you see the SNL skit on the whole Democratic the debate?
No, I'm waiting for that. I was hoping. I thought the Trump thing on SSL was going to be this Saturday, but I guess it's next Saturday.
No, they did. They did a Democratic debate on SNL. Where they had people in impersonate the.
I missed it.
Yeah, they've got it on YouTube.
All right, so it's worth watching.
It is worth watching
All right, I'll get to it.
because they made Hillary sound like a real big asshole, and hey, guess what? She really is.
Yeah, I mean, really, if how can she say it's not her fault when there's like all those requests for
For information.
for extra security from her ambassador. She's saying, well, I gave it to somebody else, or it automatically goes to somebody else, so it's not my fault. I mean, if you're in charge, then it's your fault. I mean, just deal with it.
Yeah. We better. Apparently, we're boring G webs.
We're boring G webs.
Yeah, we're boring G webs. So I think we better call it.
All right. All right. Well, this lock and load Monday has run its course for today, and if you're in Hawaii, make sure you have soft points if you're in a hunting zone, and only bring hunting caliber weapons with you until we get this shit straightened out. And whatever you do, absolutely, positively, don't